Hello everybody. Welcome to a special Let's Horribly Break Pokemon Blue thing. If you're listening to this, then that means that the series proper is over, and there's technically nothing else to do except one more thing. I got something organized, and why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Metroixer, and I'm the guy who made this mess. I'm responsible for everything.
I found him.
He found me. It was really hard. I've been trying to hide ever since I finished this thing. I don't want to be the Pokemon guy, but you ruined my plan.
Me neither, man.
Yeah.
So I've never done this before, as I was talking about earlier, but I'm gonna try and do this as best I can. I've got some questions prepared for you.
Yeah.
And you can answer them to the best of your ability. If you don't know them, that's fine. It's been nine.
Nearly a decade.
Yeah, this will probably be coming out on the LP archive. What it says is the anniversary of the Let's Play. I don't know if that's actually true, because it says it began on April 6, 2010.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that much.
Yeah.
It was in April.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and then this will probably be coming up on the birthday of the LP.
Mm-hmm.
Christ, that is so weird to me that it's almost 10 years old. Because no, you go.
I was just going to say, I'm looking at it. It says April 6th to July 7th. So that's only April to May. That's 3 months, right?
Yes, that's it took you 3 months to make this thing. Meanwhile, a year and a half of me making the videos, and I'm only now finishing it.
I mean, I was going to say it felt like a year and a half to make it. I'm surprised it was that short now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Admittedly, I took a few breaks, and I could have probably finished it faster, but you know how it is.
That's okay. No one's paying you to do it, so
True.
Yeah.
Actually, before I get into the questions, why don't we regale the tale of how I even started doing this in the first place? Because Because I remember reading your LP years ago. I don't think it was exactly when it came out. Maybe like a year or two after. But it spread around a bit. I don't know. Surely you know that it's a pretty popular Let's Play.
I knew it got popular in some respect, but it was always hard because it was in the something awful bubble, at least from my perspective. So it was kind of hard to say how big of a deal is this actually?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Where did you read it from? How did you hear about it?
That's a good question. Because I've been trying to remember, and I want to say it was I want to say someone posted it on like the Face Punch forums.
Whoa!
It had to be something like that. I just remember reading it and just because nowadays glitch stuff like this is like, it's pretty commonplace. It's easy to find stuff. Yeah. But like back then it wasn't exactly commonplace,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. I think speedrunning really brought a lot of that to the popular discourse. To say that you broke a game by accident or something like that. That's people just say that all the time now. I don't know if it was the same back then.
A lot has changed.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I remember reading it and really loving it back then, and for a long time, when I first started making videos back in 2017, I knew when I first made my video on fucking Sonic or some shit, The
as you do,
as you do,
everyone does.
as every gaming YouTuber does, who makes a Sonic video.
Yeah.
I knew one of the things I wanted to do was something with that LP, but my big hurdle was I didn't want to just like do it without asking you. Yeah. So I needed to find Metroixer. It's Metroix. Is it Metroixer or Metroixer?
I always say Metroixer, just as like that, like a fluid O to I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because I figured it was like based off like Metroid or something.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I remember I needed permission or something like that. Like I just didn't want to do it, you know. So I tried to message you on YouTube, the amazing YouTube Messenger, and no results for a few days. And then I go stalking on Twitter to see if there's anyone named Metroixer on there.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, thank God you kept your handle. And I DM'd you the first episode. You said yes. The rest is history.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's funny is that you weren't the. I'm not saying this to like make it sound unoriginal, but before then, I think you're like the third or fourth person who has tried to do this.
Yeah.
And of those like three that I know of at least, because like I think the first time someone did it, they did ask me, and that one was weird because it was like a 10-year-old kid who was like really like high pitched voice, like trying to like read through it and then like going through Game Shark codes, and he asked me and I was like, yeah, go for it. I'm not gonna tell a kid to like say no, whatever, he can do what he wants. And then like I think I ran into like one or two other people who like tried to do it and they didn't even ask, and again I was like, whatever, just go do it. So when you asked me, I honestly I wasn't expecting it to finish. Like, because no one's finished it. Because like, as I'm sure you know now, it's like a lot of work to even like get some of this stuff done. And I mean, even your videos also took like the extra step to like look and sound professional against all odds, despite what the writing is like. So,
it's weird to me because you being approached by people asking you to adapt the Let's Play, it's not surprising to me because I was always like wondering why there never really was one. I could never find one whenever I tried to look it up.
Yeah.
But it just going through this, it's clear that this might be a bit of it's a bit more of an undertaking than one might imagine.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, okay, why don't I get into some of these questions?
Ooh, okay.
Let's start with a hard ball. One to really set the tone of this interview. So why did you pick Pokemon Blue instead of Pokemon Red?
Because that's the one I got as a kid. It's funny because because Pokemon Red is the popular one, right? Like that's the one that everyone got because it's got like Charizard, and it's red, and I guess like red is cooler or whatever. But it's just the one that I had, and that's not even accurate actually. It's the one my brother had, and then when my brother grew out of having a Game Boy, I like just hand-me-down took it upon myself. And so that's just the one. And, because of that, I don't know if it had to do with it being blue, but like, Blastoise was always my favorite starter of the original three. I think Charizard is mad overrated.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you know what? Thank you. Turtle with cannons on its back. That's also why I don't remember its name. The turtle Pokemon in like Gen 4, the grass turtle. That guy is cool too. But no one ever talks about him. But he was also a big fave of mine. So, I'm definitely not bitter about Red being the more popular one. But I will say I don't get why Charizard is the popular one. And I think it also has made me like instinctively always pick the less popular Pokemon game whenever a new one comes out. Not to date this interview, but I'm going to get Pokemon Shield probably because everyone else is going to get Sword, Yeah,
this is how it is. No, I get that completely.
Yeah, totally.
I think Pokemon Blue also helps out a bit because like it kind of makes it a little more distinct because like you said, everyone picks red, so you
Yeah.
picked blue.
Yeah.
It's I
Yeah,
mean,
like I
yeah.
go ahead.
Go no, you go ahead, please.
Don't worry. I don't know. It's just I mean because there's never really such a big difference between the Pokemon games at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? It really just has to do with like what exclusive Pokemon there are on each each version. And I mean for Red and Blue, I mean Blastoise is cool, but I think oh shit. I think Red does have like the better like exclusive Pokemon if I remember right. So that's the other thing is like if I had to do it by picking exclusives, I would go Red. But just by matter of like instinct and justifying my choice, I'll always go with Blue anyway.
You're just part of the counterculture. I understand.
Yeah, for sure. It really defined like the rest of my life, really, me having Pokemon Blue.
Well, excellent. I'm glad we figured that one out.
Yeah, you really unpacked a lot here.
Maybe I'm better at this than I thought.
Oh no.
What why did you start doing the Let's Play?
Now that is a hardball question. And I think it has to go a little bit back. So, okay. So I started Let's Playing back, I was a freshman in high school, right? Was when I started doing video Let's Plays.
Yep.
And it was just kind of like, just really basic stuff like here's Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and here's I'm gonna 100% it, and I'm just gonna just fucking ramble off and look for stuff to talk about while I do this.
Simpler times.
Yeah, very simpler times, and it was times when something like that would get views in the triple or even the quadruple digits, and you didn't even have to really work for it. And now it's like. You can't do that. Man. It's super cutthroat. So, I did that for a little bit with like my own, with like a little like smaller Let's Play community that wasn't. I don't know if I have to explain what Something Awful is on this case, but Something Awful, which is kind of known for where Let's Play started. There was like a splinter group that like didn't want to pay to like be in the forums. So they made their own little free Let's Play forum called letsplayforum.com, if I remember right. And that's what I joined because I didn't have a credit card, so there was no way I was going to get on Something Awful back then. And so we were kind of like we had our own little group, and we were like very like proud of that for a bit. And kind of had our own thing for a couple of months, 1 or 2 years. And, we were it was kind of weird. We got like really like haughty and kind of elitist about it in like a way that is super stupid now. But it's like, oh, well, if you got to do like a Let's Play, you have to show it off in like a very unique way. You have to be like, it has to be about the game, not like the person doing it, shit like that.
Yeah.
That, again, we know what like the internet is like now. We were super off base to keep it short. But eventually, all of us did end up getting credit cards. We all like got older and like got like money to pay online. So we all ended up getting on Something Awful. And to this group, Something Awful was like this very like, oh shit, this is SA. You gotta like, if you're gonna make something, we gotta make sure it's really good, or else we're gonna be like the laughing stock, or they're gonna make fun of us. Shit that a bunch of teenagers would care about, right?
Yeah.
Thinking back, it's ridiculous. And I mean, if you were ever to look at Something Awful today, like all of that has completely changed. But back then, that's what our perception was. So I wanted to make something that was like, all that, even though that was like silly and like looking back at it kind of like ridiculous to think about, it is basically what led me to make this Let's Play like a glitch Let's Play, right? Because I knew I wanted to do a Pokemon LP. Because I just really like Pokemon, and I knew it had to be something different. And even then, this is more valid. Like doing a Pokemon Let's Play at the time was actually really. This is going to make me sound braver than I actually am, but it was risky because back then, every Pokemon Let's Play, if I remember right. I think only one ever made it through because it was like a very like white bread, like this is a Growlithe. Here's the Pokédex entry. Now we will go catch Mewtwo. Just very
you needed
shit
to,
like that.
You needed to step up your game if you wanted the Let's Play to stay in the forums, basically.
Yeah, that too, and because every other Pokemon Let's Play that tried to make it through was basically fan fiction and self-inserts. So there was like a reputation of Pokemon LPs of like, also this was back when like furries were considered bad still, where it's like, oh, if you do a Pokemon Let's Play, you're probably a fucking furry, Again, a lot has changed since then, obviously, so it's like, whatever now. But it had to be something that was like really different and really stood out from everything else. And this seemed to me like something that hit what I liked and something that was different enough that I thought would interest everyone else.
I think it worked, and I definitely see what you mean by the forum culture thing, because I also I didn't post on Something Awful because credit card, but I did post on like Game FAQs and Face Punch when I was a teenager and stuff. So I know like a lot about small splinter like forum culture.
Yeah,
and how shit like that works.
Yeah, because like it's fun, like you just kind of need like a bad guy, I guess, or be like, oh, these fucking assholes, they're not like us. I mean, I guess that still happens today, obviously, but it's very silly to kind of think of it back then, because it used to be like, oh, like the Metroid Prime 2 game FAQs, fuck Halo, fuck the Halo game facts.
Oh my god, it's so crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's much simpler times.
It was, for sure. I can't imagine, you learn a lot going through stuff like that.
So you got onto, you made this glitch LP on the on Something Awful. Mm-hmm. And I get pieces of this from the Let's Play, like snippets of it, but I don't go on Something Awful, and I'm sure a lot of people nowadays are not even aware of the place.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. But so what was the reaction like originally when you started posting them?
So, I mean, it was crazy. It was just like so many people just going like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, this is cool, Yeah. Just like a bunch of people like sort of reacting like really positively and being like, oh, this is like a really creative idea. Just a lot of positivity, like to the extent that I was like, it was like kind of freaky, because it was like, that, I guess hitting a gold mine moment of like, oh shit, like this, people were really into this. It was kind of shocking and it was shocking too to see how fast the thread grew, like in terms of pages. I think it was, it's so weird because I don't know who's going to listen to this, and I'm like, do people listening to this even go to forums anymore? But,
oh, God, please.
Putting it, putting it this way, it's like, most Let's Plays is like, okay, here's my first, like, update, and it would have like maybe like 1 page worth of like 1 to 2 pages worth of reactions before you'd have like another, update. In this case, it was like 5 to like 7 pages, something like that, before I even made a second update.
That's
so
crazy.
a lot of eyes suddenly going on it, and it's just like every morning it was like 50 new posts or something, and I was just like, what? This is crazy,
Yeah. No, I can imagine it, and yeah, like you said, I don't think. I'm sure some of the people who are initially listening to this go on forums, but yeah.
Imagine getting 100 retweets versus 10,000 retweets.
Yeah,
that's the best way.
Something like that, yeah, or however many upvotes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That must have been like really weird to just like wake up, go to school, 50 new posts on Something Awful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, And there's two layers of it too, right? It's like it's crazy that that happened, and another thing is I might have to explain this one too. I was like Retsuprayed like a year or two before that, before making the Let's Play. So, do you know what a beat Retsupray is?
Of course, yeah. I
Okay,
used to
so
watch
you
it all
know.
the time.
Okay, great. So you saw the Thanksgiving video then?
Was that you?
That was me, dog.
Okay. I need to rewatch that then. That's
Okay.
insane.
So yeah, you know, a little bit of context for the listeners. At the time, the Something Awful Let's Play forum was run by Slow Beef, who used to do these series of videos called Retsupray. That was basically just making fun of like bad Let's Play videos, like you know, talking over them and everything. And I recorded like some like Super Mario Land thing that ended up getting picked up and was like, you know, Retsupray basically, and for good reason. It's not a good video. But you know, while this is blowing up, I'm thinking like, oh man, what if someone like points? What if someone says something? Like, you know, because it's still like the same. You know, it's still Metroixer. It's still the same person doing it. But that ended up not mattering at all. But it was like this weird anxiety I had of like, oh, what if they find out I'm the Thanksgiving guy? You know, it didn't matter at all ultimately.
Yeah.
I think like a handful of people were like, oh shit, you're the Thanksgiving guy. You've gone a long way. And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All this lore, guys. All this lore.
Oh, this lore. Yeah, for sure. The Metroixer lore is endless.
It runs deep.
Yeah. There's missing gaps, and for good reason. I deleted them.
So, another question I have is so obviously you had video segments in your Let's Play,
Yeah.
but obviously it's mostly a text LP. Was that because of like limitations on the forum, or did you just or was like a full video series like too much of an undertaking?
I think it's because I think part of it is because back in the day, the idea of doing a video let's play of a JRPG in any format was sort of considered bad.
Yeah.
You know? And that's really sort of what drove most of the decision is like if you're going to do a let's play of an RPG, something that was very text heavy or like a strategy game or whatever, then you would do it in that text screenshot format just because like doing it as a video wouldn't really play well. And ultimately, I mean, it did, again, you know this now, having done the video version yourself. Doing like a video version would require massive amounts of editing and just being like, you know, not capturing like, okay, I'm going to put in this game shark code here, and now I got to make sure that it works, and I got to make sure that like the audio looks right and that it's capturing correctly.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately having it be like a screenshot just made things a lot easier for me. And easier to digest. I think another thing too is just because at least for me, I kind of wanted it to sort of reflect. I wanted people reading it to sort of have the same experience I had when I was learning about all this stuff in the first place, and that was also in like that screenshot sort of format.
All right, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't that makes sense, especially back then, because like editing videos wasn't as commonplace as it was.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could probably like do like a JRPG video now and just cut and paste stuff and everything, and you know everyone would be chill about it. It's not a big deal anymore. But it just felt like it wasn't like a super big decision for me. I was like, I'm going to do a Pokemon Let's Play. Obviously, it's going to be a screenshot. It was almost like there was no other way it could have been presented in my mind back then.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
How did you find a lot of the glitches for your LP, or like what was like your routine for doing like an update?
So I'm gonna split that into two questions.
Okay.
Like the first one being like how I found out about most of the glitches, because I knew about most of them before I even started the Let's Play.
Really?
Yeah. So how I even like found out about this stuff in the first place, this goes way back to like me being in middle school, like I think like sixth grade or something like that. I don't know how I found out about this site, and I don't know if the site is still up even. I'm afraid to check.
I think I
But
know what you're talking about, but continue.
there was a site called trsrocking.com, and I might have referenced it in the Let's Play, actually.
Yeah.
I did? Okay. So there's this site called trsrocking.com, and it was basically this website that was run by this woman who just basically like sort of it was kind of like an encyclopedia of like glitches and like of Pokemon glitches specifically, and she just sort of wrote her. It was almost like a journal of her like testing things out and reporting on what happened.
Yeah.
And so that's where I found out about a lot of this stuff. And, there wasn't, I don't remember if there was a lot of science behind it, but to me back then, it was just sort of really cool because it kind of, I didn't know about like Misigno or M before this, for example. Like, I know that that was like sort of the most popular ones, but that was when I first found out about that too. Plus like the PokeGod stuff, plus all the random one-off glitches and everything. And to me, it just sort of was like this experience of like, oh shit, there's like this whole Pandora's box in here that like, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, there's just like this whole Pandora's box in here that you can just like mess with and like see what happens. And like, me being a romantic about it, I was like, oh shit, like there's like these like living things like in these games that could really mess the game up because the game's trying to make sense of this and they're just like trying to like be a part of it. I had this whole like, romantic like viewpoint of it, and I was also kind of like scared of it too, like stuff like the fucked up music, like the graphics getting all scrambled and everything. There's something a little sinister about it. So me and a friend of mine would like try this shit out. Like I told him about it, and we would like buy like used carts from like GameStop and just try to mess with shit. And like it even went so far as we would like open the cartridge open and then like just fuck. Obviously this didn't do much, but we thought it would. Like just like mess with like the guts of the cartridge and then try to run the game just to see what happens. And usually what happens is that the game doesn't work anymore. But it was just like this really cool like period of experimentation that like stuck with me and was sort of like the driving force of the Let's Play of like, I want to show people what this is like, I want to tell other people about what this is like, because at the time, like you hit, it wasn't a very popular glitches in general wasn't like a thing that like was in the mainstream conversation. And then like the other bit, what you were asking about, like the process of the Let's Play, right?
Yeah, but before we go on to that, when you're talking about how you were sort of a romantic about it,
yeah,
I don't think I think like a lot of people who like know about these glitches are like that, like me included. It's just so fascinating, all of these like all this trouble under the surface of this like seemingly normal game. There's just so many like problems with it that you can't really find on like a regular playthrough, except for like maybe Missing No. But like,
right,
there's just so much under the hood. It is a little sinister in a way, and it was a little creepy for me in that, like, because I did the Missing No glitch when I was a kid, and I thought I was like terrified of that thing. I wouldn't even catch it because I thought it would ruin my game. All I would do is I would catch like a Ditto and then transform into it, and that's how I would like experiment with it, just like in that battle. But like, what was I gonna say? But like, I completely lost it now.
No, you're good. I mean, and you're definitely right, and I think most people have that like sort of perception of it. I think that's why now like a lot of like indie games and stuff will like put in like glitch, like Axiom Verge, right?
Oh yeah.
Axiom Verge is like, here's like the glitch gun, and like here's like there's like special like glitch areas and everything.
Yeah.
Trying to sort of recreate that feeling, although personally speaking, I don't think it really works. But
That game's okay.
Yeah, don't get me started on Axiom Verge in general, because I don't think it's okay. I think it's worse than okay, but that's a whole other thing.
We'll have to do an Axiom Verge review podcast sometime. 'Cause I've got some opinions on that game too.
But there's definitely it's you can't really recreate that thing anymore. Like it's something that I think is very exclusive to old games. Like I think this has to do with it too. I think when like a new game has like glitches, it's all very what's the word? Like sort of like logical, or like you kind of it's very boring, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like a character does like a T pose randomly. It's like, oh, they fucked up like the code or whatever, or it's like, oh, this is like a common like Unity or like Havoc physics engine bug. That's why something went flying up. Skyrim glitches and everything, it's like kind of funny. But like with stuff like Pokemon, or really any old like games before, I'd say like the Xbox, GameCube, PS2 generations, it feels a lot more like it kind of feels like the game is just on the brink of like breaking itself, because programmers had to do a lot of tricks just to get a thing to work, which results in these like weird game breaking. I'm sure programmers today, or whatever programmer is listening to this, is yelling at me right now for saying that. But there's just something different about it, I guess. It might just be a nostalgia thing. I don't know.
It might be, but I'm 100% with you, even if it is.
Thank you. Finally, someone. Finally.
All right. Enough of that tangent. We can get back to what you were saying earlier. What was it? It was like how did you? All right. So how you discovered the glitches through TR's Rockin', which I also went on back in the day.
Okay.
So
cool.
It was like crazy to hear you talking about them and being like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I'm sure you don't get that a lot. But
yeah.
And then how you like planned out episodes, I think, was the second part.
So how I planned out episodes, this is definitely the sloppier part of the whole thing. So, I mean, in terms of like focus, I think if I remember right, it was basically just like, okay, I know I'm going to get through the game, and sort of with each like, because you need to ground it in some way, right? And I think that's why I like sort of went through like the typical like gym leader like progression, because it's like, okay, this thing has to end eventually, so, and this is how I'm sort of gonna like measure the progress of the thing.
Yeah.
And when I started it, I just kind of assumed that I would have enough glitches per part or per episode to sort of sustain it. And so what I think ends up happening is like in the first half of the Let's Play, that's kind of where a lot of the bangers are.
It's a little front loaded. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because you have like the Mew glitch, you have like some of the more crazier Pokegod stuff. You have Missigno, you have Glitch City, all that stuff. But then in the second half, I felt like I was really starting to. I was running sort of out of ideas, and so that's sort of where you bring in stuff like trying out Pokemon Yellow version for an episode, which, I mean, honestly, that ended up being cool, because I think Pokemon Yellow might have had like the scariest fucking ones
Pokemon
out of all
Yellow
of them.
Is insane.
Yeah, for sure. Like that had like the most like. I remember when I recorded like the female video, I was like, this is fucking scary. Like I'm psyched to see how people react to this. And the people did not disappoint. So that was a lot of fun. And then like Pokemon, and then also Gen 2 as well. That ended up just being more of a curiosity, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the second half was a little bit just sloppier, and just by this point, I ended up just going on like Bulbapedia and being like, okay, what did I not go through yet? Okay, I haven't tried like this Pokegod thing yet, whatever it is. It seems different enough that I could try it. So it was a little sloppy in that respect, in terms of planning things out. I never really had like a solid outline when I started, I just knew I wanted to like show off glitches and have it be a thing.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense because
Yeah.
I think like the Pokemon Yellow part in particular is actually really cool just because of how like insane that game is, like you were saying.
Yeah, for sure.
But oh, were you saying something?
I was just gonna say it was like a really nice surprise. It sort of brought me back to those middle school days of like, oh shit, I'm actually kind of scared of this. Back when I was doing it.
They're just so much freakier. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's the color or something. I don't get it. And I think also just the music is like faster for some reason.
It's like they fixed the missing no glitch, and then just like a bunch of other holes just started popping up.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a Did you have a favorite part of yours, like one in particular that you really like?
Oh man, I mean, like at least in terms of like doing it, the endless evolution part where I don't remember exactly the particulars of it, but I think it's the end of part 2 or part 3 where a Pokemon of mine just kept evolving and evolving and evolving, and like it wouldn't stop. For some reason, that ended up being like sort of my favorite one because I have no idea why it happened. First of all, like it happened once, and I like took screenshots, and I was like, okay, that was fucking crazy. I had to like close the emulator to get out of this. But okay, now I'm gonna capture video of this, and I just couldn't do it. And it I guess that's part of why it was my favorite, because it was like, wow, like this is something that wasn't like I have no idea why this happened, and that's sort of it kind of captures the spirit of the whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
Is that sort of mystery behind it. Yeah, I think that was my favorite one. I think, like you mentioned, like the Pokemon Yellow stuff was a nice surprise as well, because I wasn't expecting it to be as crazy as it was either. And yeah, I think those were my favorite ones for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned the endless evolution thing, because I remember you saying in the LP that you couldn't replicate it, so that had me worried that I wasn't going to be able to do it. But
yeah.
I think it was because I think it was like experimenting with the super glitch or something is how it happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did, but for some reason
it
worked.
Happened again.
It happened.
Yeah,
it happened again.
That's cool.
I think
That's cool.
It happened more than once too.
Yeah.
It's
that. I think anything that has to do with that super glitch move is just a treat, because it feels so unpredictable.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of fun like messing with that stuff and just seeing what happened.
Do you have a least favorite part?
Oh man, I think it would have to be. Let me see. Give me a second here, because I'm like kind of like giving it a think right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have to be one of the latter parts, just because it was me sort of scrounging for stuff. Mm-hmm. So just a little bit of context too, especially near like the tail end of it. Near the tail end of like the LP finishing, I was definitely in a mode of like, I'm never fucking doing this again. Because like, I mean, you think about it, I'm like a 15, I don't remember how I was in high school, right?
Yeah.
Nerdy kid in high school, you suddenly like get this super giant like let's play that the entire subforum, something awful subforum, has their eyes on. And then just my I had shit going on in like, my real life that was just like very like, oh, this sucks. So it kind of ended up being like, this is the thing, this is all I care about right now. But by the end, it just felt like a really big stressor. I felt like there was like a lot of responsibility in like having like a huge let's play thread like that, because people would go off on tangents. I'd have people go like, hey, like your thread is kind of going crazy. Can you close it? And, sometimes I would close the thread and open it, and people would be like, why the fuck do you close the thread? We were just talking about shit. I guess, stuff like that happening at the tail end that I sort of just associate that part of it kind of negatively. I could feel like the energy of the Let's Play sort of like it was losing steam by the end. So I think like just writing those last parts, I was like, man, I just kind of want to be done with this now. So it's not because of like the glitches or what I did. It's more because of like the circumstances surrounding it. Yeah, there's just stuff like that kind of made it. I didn't end it. I didn't hate it or anything. It was just more like, man, this should have ended like 2 parts ago or something.
No, I get that. I personally have like a favorite and least favorite part that.
Oh, tell me.
That I had that not from like a writing standpoint, although I'm sure you would object. I completely understand, but like
okay.
working to like replicate glitches was, or I guess technically because at the time of recording this is technically not done yet, is the most stressful part of getting this whole thing working together, because like you were saying earlier about the Gen 1 glitches is that they're so volatile.
Yeah.
And it's so hard sometimes to get it right. And it doesn't have to be 100% correct like from the LP, but like the same I feel like it has to have the same beats. And that's why my least favorite part I had to work on was definitely the Pokemon Gold one. The Gen 2 one. It was for some reason the glitch Pokemon in that game they wouldn't work. They just wouldn't do anything. I would try and like capture them or attack them or anything, and they would just give me a big or like a waiting text box, like when you're in a trainer battle and like a link cable battle. No matter what I did, I even tried using Pokemon Silver to like a completely different ROM to try and circumvent this, and none of it was working. So yeah, I have no clue why it have that difference.
That's really interesting to me because I don't recall having any issue working on that particular update. Not to
No, it's fine. Because I mean, the original part's still there, so anyone who's curious can just read it. But oh man, it was just a bummer because like a lot of the part revolved around those guys and their reactions. It wasn't at the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a deal, but still, it was annoying in the recording process of it. And then there was this I managed to work out, but when I was fighting to get the glitch delete 4, for some reason whenever I battled them, you got them at level 215. Which makes for a climactic battle. I got them at level 32. No matter what I tried, I tried all sorts of like hacks to kind of level them up, but nothing I could do could like fix it. So what I had to do is I went to this website called glitchcity.info or something. Yep.
Familiar.
Very compared to your day, very comprehensive.
Very scientific. They can actually explain what's happening.
Yeah, they actually like know what they're talking about and stuff, and it's insane. So I go on their forum and I ask them do you guys have any clue how to replicate what this guy in this Let's Play did 9 years ago? And
oh wow,
they're just like, it's like, well, you tried doing this or whatever, and I was like, but then what I got was have you ever seen ever seen like YouTube videos from this guy called the Zazaz glitch?
Have I like his YouTube username is the Zazaz glitch?
Yeah, that's like literally his name.
No, I haven't.
He just like posts a bunch of like YouTube videos, like he doesn't like talk over them, but he has like text in like the corner or whatever that like explains what's going on with like a bunch of glitches. And he posts in that thread I made and explains to me what's going on with these glitch trainers, and also like saying like, well, first of all, this Let's Play is 9 years old and was heavily sharked, so you can't expect to completely replicate everything. It's like, yeah, I know.
Oh,
but
man.
but no, what
I'm just imagining like everyone talking shit on the Let's Play, being like, this guy's a fucking idiot. No wonder you can't get anything.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, what he did is he pretty much explained to me like what was happening in that part. Like he knew how he did it, and then he also had like some sort of code that like gave like the glitched Elite Four trainer like a certain roster that has nothing but level 215 Pokemon, and it seemed to match up with what I had, what you had in your Let's Play. So I'm really curious as to how, if you didn't use a code, I'm wondering how that happened.
I mean, I don't remember. I wish I could tell you, but I really just don't remember the circumstances behind it. My gut reaction is saying that a code was involved, like getting a code through and making it work that way. What that code was, the circumstances through it, I couldn't tell you that. Another important thing that I think should be pointed out is that I don't know why I did it like this. I think this is because I think this is why the Let's Play was so short, because this was back in the day where I stuck to a schedule, and I was like, okay, well, I want to do an update every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. So sometimes I would wait because sometimes I would wait until the very last day, and then I would just start writing. I would start writing and getting the update together the day before, and the writing in that Let's Play, some of it is like writing from me doing it at like 2 a.m, not proofreading it, not like checking for errors, just being like, I wrote it, here it is, paste everything, put all the images in, it's on the thread now, I'm going to bed.
That's a powerful energy right there.
Yeah, I don't have that energy anymore, man. I can't go to bed at 10 o'clock, I can't do it anymore. I play Baba Is You for an hour and I'm like, I'm fucking done. I don't even know what I'm doing.
No more games.
Yeah, no, I'm done with games. I sit on a porch, I drink sweet tea, I'm like, this is the life.
The Georgian man.
That's me. I'm not doing that voice, though. I would get beat up right away. Yeah.
But yeah, those are just some... Whenever stuff wasn't going according to plan was always stressful for me. But
yeah, I bet.
Parts like the Pokemon Yellow part actually went, I think was probably and this is probably just because it's recent in my memory, but it was probably the smoothest any of the parts went regarding glitches and whatnot, and I'm really proud of that one. But I also like the one where you go through like the Zazaz clones or whatever, and it's just like a little mini part. That one also went by pretty smoothly.
Yeah, Zazaz is that was pretty interesting because it had like a lot of weird. I think like it had the most interesting like graphical glitches, and like color alterations and stuff, and it also I think led to the most crashes. So in some respect, those were probably like the most like. I'm sure Glitch City has explanations for why it does what it does because and now that it's been a couple of years, I'm actually interested in seeing that stuff because. Yeah, because like I think so many other glitches, even if they're like sort of crazy, you can sort of like tell like, oh well, I recognize what tiles these are from, or like, oh I know what like names these are being pulled from, like I know what string it's like reading to have the other string show up in a weird name, but stuff like the colors getting inverted and shit like that, it's like how does that even happen? So I'm sorry, I'm going off right now.
No,
but,
you're good. This is great.
I agree. I agree. The Zazaz stuff was definitely an interesting little sidebar.
And I actually managed to get the Zazaz glitch to work in Pokemon Yellow, which was a nice surprise because you couldn't get it to work in your LP. So it was nice to get some closure on that. But I mean, everyone kind of knows what like knows a lot about this stuff now, but still.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta watch that now. And just for the listeners at home, just so you know, I have. We talked about this before we started recording. I have been watching like the video let's plays because it's cool. They're really good. Like you've been doing a good job.
Thank you.
Converting them. It's just hard for me to watch because you are literally reading writing that I wrote when I was like 16. So
No.
for me, it's like cringing, like, and then like you go into like sidebars sometimes where it's like, oh, well, this part was, Met wrote about this part, and it's kind of weird. I don't really know what the fuck he was talking about. And I'm like sitting there being like, I don't know either, dude. I have no fucking, don't look at me. That was a different person.
No, I totally understand. Because you're so far removed from who you are when you wrote that. I couldn't imagine reading stuff I wrote when I was
you were 16.
when I was even 16.
Yeah.
So I think this next question was already sort of answered, but I figured I'll ask it anyway. So did you ever consider making a sequel?
So, I mean, yeah, like I know I kind of hit on it a little bit of like, oh, I'm never doing this again. I don't know what a sequel would look like, especially now because since that Let's Play happened, people were sort of there are people who were inspired by it and like took that idea and concept and made something like much better with it. One example I can give is Mecha Prime. He did a glitch Let's Play of Link's Awakening, and I'm friends with him, and so like he sort of took that and like made like a glitch Let's Play out of it as a video, not as like a screenshot thing, but even as a video, and that was really cool. And people sort of ran with this idea of breaking things, and this Pokemon Blue thing, it was very much a lightning in a bottle, you can't. People now record themselves on like Twitch and shit, opening up a ROM, messing with like a hex code and just seeing what corruption happens.
Yeah.
Those videos are everywhere now, it just really isn't something that stands out. If you're going to do something that focuses on glitches, it has to be like you either have to know what the hell you're talking about or you're doing it in service of like a speed run. And I'm not saying don't do it just for fun, because you can, like, that's fine, but it'll never be like that blow up moment like this was,
Yeah.
And like just me personally, I mean, I have trouble. I mean, just a regular Let's Play for me, it's like, I don't know if I'm ever even going to do a regular Let's Play ever again. I get, like, sometimes urges to do it, but then I'm like, I have other hobbies now that I think are more productive that I'd rather spend time on. So I'm like, okay, not saying anyone who does Let's Plays is unproductive. You're all pieces of shit is what I'm saying. But
that's something awful mentality. It's creeping through.
That something awful mentality is still there. You're all just trying to get that YouTube superstar money. I see you. But no, obviously it's just the time commitment to me now just doesn't feel as worth it. And like, if I'm gonna do a Let's Play now, it's because I want to do it with like friends or something, or I want to like get involved, connected with a community again. And that's basically it. Honestly, the Pokemon Blue Let's Play isn't the favorite Let's Play I ever did, even though it was the most popular by a large margin.
Yeah.
So, I guess my answer to your question is no.
Fuck no. Okay.
No. No thanks.
No, that's perfectly fine. Have you kept up with like the glitch scene in Pokemon Blue at all, or you kind of?
I fell off, honestly. I mean, you talking about this YouTube channel, because the thing is like, now I actually, while we were talking, I looked up the account. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh shit, this looks really interesting. So I might actually watch some of this stuff now tonight, just to see what's up, catch up on everything. Because like, to me at least, like, the only connection, for one thing, when I wrote the Let's Play, it's not like I was connected with like the community that was like actually figuring this stuff out, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was just kind of like some shithead kid who came out of nowhere and took their hard work and just be like, I'm going to do a Game Shark code and share it with everyone and get popular out of that. That's not obviously how it is, but I was never connected to that community, right?
Yeah.
And so I never really follow through with it. The only times I really see stuff about it is through like recommended YouTube videos. And whenever I see a recommended YouTube video about it, I always assume it's something I already know. That sounds really cocky.
It's like, I've seen
I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
Who I am.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't. It's fascinating to think about, right? Because like how much more can there be, right? But clearly there's still so much more. Just glancing at this YouTube channel that you mentioned, there and to a much more granular level, right? And like actually being able to explain it the right way. I think just talking about it again has kind of lit a little bit of a fire in me and being like, yeah, I do want to know what's up again.
You hear that, guys? The sequel is coming.
Absolutely not. I would get torn apart for sure. It'd be you'd just have a lot of people who are like inspired by this sounds cocky too, but a lot of people inspired by the original thing who then found out that I was just talking shit and then they know more than I do now. Stuff like that. But I am interested in seeing what the progress has been now, because also like you can't, because there are like glitches in like the newer gens, right? But none of them. It's a nostalgia thing again, None of them are as interesting as the original like Gen 1 or even Gen 2 glitches, because there's just a lot more like unpredictability to it. And I think also it kind of shows to like highlight, back then. I feel really bad about this too, because I think me writing that original Let's Play, I think there was a bit of a narrative or a tone of like, oh man, like the people who were making this game, they didn't know what they were doing. Look how like fucked up this is. But
you were kind of a trailblazer, because shitting on Game Freak has kind of become a very common practice nowadays.
Yeah, I'm the first person who has ever made fun of Game Freak.
Yeah, the first ever.
Yeah, but I feel bad because, back then that was sort of like the attitude I had about it because I was a shit kid. But now, like, looking at it, it's like, man, you had to work really fucking hard to get this to work,
Yeah.
And just like, kind of like pushing and pulling at like the little strings and hope and scotch tape that pulled it all together. It kind of shows you just how much shit they had to deal with to make this whole thing work. And I mean, like, we see these things and like we poke holes at it and everything, but at the end of the day, it doesn't, if you're a kid, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter to any of us when we were playing it. So it kind of just serves to show how much hard work was put into this thing with such a small team too,
Yeah.
And with, all written in, I'm going to get corrected on this, but some form of assembly, which is a whole other can of like programming worms that I'm sure was a nightmare to work with.
Definitely. I think what you were saying about how like the newer glitches in like the Pokemon games, it kind of goes back to what you were saying about how glitches nowadays just aren't as interesting.
Yeah.
Because people just have stuff more figured out now, and
for sure.
Back then it was just a lot harder to do this shit, to just make a game. Nowadays I could make a game in like Game Maker or something, but back then I didn't have access to any of those tools.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not like an inherently bad thing by any stretch. I mean, no one wants no one wants to like have their game torn apart or anything like that, obviously. And, having placeholders. Let's keep in mind, too, the glitches that we're talking about in this original Let's Play, they, like, deleted save files,
Yeah.
It's good that they don't happen. Imagine if you... I'm sorry. Imagine if you were one of those people who had like Pokemon from Gen 3 and you transferred them over to Gen 4 and then Gen 5, because people do that, and then just having them all erased by some that
because like you couldn't trade Pokemon from Gen 2 to Gen 3, which I think was
right.
Game Freak telling telling people, or just like admitting fault in that, like, yes, we fucked up on these games. We have to start from scratch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's the right move, I think.
Definitely,
and
definitely.
I think it led to better quality of life for the series in general, and a lot of cool stuff. If Pokemon was still didn't move past what it was in Gen 2, I don't think we'd still have Pokemon games. And, there are glitches in Pokemon now, but, Game Freak does the thing where, I don't know if they still do this, because I guess all the games are 3D now, but, like, in, like, Gen 3 to, like, Gen 5, I think if you did find a glitch, it was just, like, a big question mark that would just be, like, you couldn't even do anything with it. And, that was that. I don't know what the newer generation games do, but also it's harder to even hack. Well, actually, no, it's not harder to hack Nintendo consoles. They're actually one of the easiest ones to hack. But people don't care about it as much, I guess, because there's so many more fail-safes.
Yeah, definitely. Even in, like, Gen 2, when I was trying to get that glitch Pokemon to catch, I'm pretty sure that was some sort of fail-safe Game Freak put in so that you couldn't fuck with them.
Yeah, and they're a right to do so. It's just, again, a lightning in a jar moment, They were figuring things out in Gen 1, and that's where stuff is the most interesting and, like, volatile.
Definitely. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if this was already asked, but, I got I got a couple more questions. One of them is, were you surprised when I asked to adapt your 9-year-old text Let's Play, and what was your reaction to it?
I think my reaction was like, here's another fucking guy trying to do it. All right.
I was a little intimidated from no, nothing you did. I'm just fucking nervous shit. But
no, you're fine.
But yeah, it was like, this guy who's so far removed from this thing, I'm just bothering him, being like, hey, can I do this? I didn't expect a no, but I didn't know what I expected, basically.
I mean, it's interesting because I still have people. I don't really play online games anymore now, right? Or because I think they're too much of a commitment. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just not have to deal with that. But back when I did play online games more often, I still, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, I would still have people typing in chat being like, "Oh shit, are you like the Pokemon? You did the thing." And I'm like,
"You're the Pokemon guy.
You're the Pokemon guy." I'm like, "Yep, that's me." I don't really know. It's hard because I mentioning this before, I just think other people have done so many better versions of this. I just sort of always expect it to fade into obscurity, kind of, because people have incremented on it and can explain it much better now. And really, the only place where you can even find out about it anymore is either not even something awful. It would have to be on the LP archive, which how many people even know that thing exists?
Yeah.
So as time goes on, I'm kind of just more surprised that people remember it. But I don't mind people bringing it up or whatever, because I understand why, for example, people would want to turn it into a video or explore the concept a little more, because time can keep going on, but people are still nostalgic for. I'm sure there are still kids whose first Pokemon games are Gen 1 games somehow. Actually, I guess you could get it through Virtual Console on the 3DS, so I guess that would be one way you could do it.
Yeah, it's on a 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah, I tried getting it on. I actually do have it on the 3DS for the express purpose to see if glitches would still work on it and what would happen. But also, playing regular ass Gen 1 Pokemon is kind of miserable now. So,
oh god, it's a little rough going back.
Yeah. I mean, we have the beauty of emulators now, believe me, I've abused this.
Speed up button, dude.
The speed up button was hit a lot while I was writing the whole thing.
I couldn't use it while during the actual parts in the Let's Play. Not usually.
Yeah, that's true.
But when it was off, when I was setting stuff up, oh man, what a blessing.
Yeah, that's another easy thing about it being a screenshot. You could have it be sped up and no one would care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting tangent about the Gen 1 Virtual Console is I actually got back when like they were doing like the 20th anniversary thing. I got the Pokemon 3DS, and when I was playing through it, I caught Missing No and shit because obviously, and I tried to do a little experiment and send, because you can transfer your Gen 1 Pokemon to Sun and Moon or whatever, one of the new Pokemon games. So what I tried to do was send Missing No up to Gen 7 or whatever, or Gen 6. I don't remember which one. And I didn't expect it to work, but what happened was it didn't let me transfer it, obviously.
Sure.
But what it also did was it changed the nickname of my Seadra that I also sent up with it to like the name of the Missing No. I think it was actually M. It changed my Seadra's name to M, and I can't change the nicknames in Sun and Moon because it's technically not my Pokemon. So now I just have like a Seadra with a name M, and it wasn't my brightest moment, really.
I mean, that's really interesting because I mean, like, think back to like, even back to Pokemon Stadium, they because you could do that in Pokemon Stadium, you could transfer Gen 1 Pokemon to Stadium to have them fight. They didn't allow you to do anything with those glitch Pokemon at all. They just showed up. I think if I remember right,
It's
just
like a
showed up.
substitute or something.
It's a substitute like thing, right? It's just like you're a fucking criminal. You can't touch this.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Stop. Yeah, quit it. But I'm amazed Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
Sun and Moon even let you transfer anything at all or even recognized it. I figured it would have. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just flat out delete it.
Yeah. They have. I think they have the gift of hindsight, and just they probably know a lot more about like how the glitches and stuff happened in that game. I'm sure they knew about like a majority of the glitches in Red and Blue. They just couldn't do anything about it at the time, which is why it's fixed in Yellow, sort of.
Yeah, and I mean they didn't even have to because I mean again like not
you do
like
have to
most
go out of
people.
your way to find a lot of these glitches.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and it's not like you're gonna give yourself a virus or whatever. So
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Man, what I would give to find like a Pokemon Red or Blue like pre-relece build. See how fucked up those are.
Man, that would be insane. First off, even the idea of a pre-release build existing is kind of wild to me. Because I mean, I guess they must have had something like that, right? Just as part of like the process. But yeah, because there was the Gen 2 pre-release build that got out. That was fucking crazy. I lost my mind seeing all that stuff.
It was like looking in like an alternate universe. Seeing all of these like ideas that they scrapped or like redid or something.
Yeah.
Assuming it's real, which I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it's real too. I mean, I feel like if it wasn't real, we would know by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those things too, though, where it's like, I wonder like if there even is anything else to uncover at this point, because I feel like there's so much has been mined out of those original gens.
Yeah.
To even have a whiff of anything that we don't know about yet would be kind of wild to me. I feel like everyone has already figured everything out.
Never say never, man.
That's true.
I have one more question on the little docket. And
okay.
Feel free to like decline answering this, but
okay.
What are you up to now? What's Metroixer up to now?
Ooh. Job. No, I guess in terms of, I'm trying to think of like up to now in terms of like what space,
Yeah.
I mentioned, I don't really do Let's Plays anymore, just because like so much has changed since then, that it just doesn't really like feel the same. There's like a weird expectation, I guess, around doing a Let's Play these days that is like, it doesn't feel as fun to me anymore. I mostly just kind of talk shit on Twitter, like everyone else who used to do Let's Plays. It's like, oh, we're just kind of like yelling into the void now. I'm, and you know, I've just been spending like less time like sort of playing games in general and more time just like thinking about like how games work, I guess, and like what it would be like to make one. Like if you were ever going to see like the Metroixer handle pop up randomly again, I would hope it would be because I might have like made like a game or something for fun. Like that's sort of like, I guess, what I'm up to now, I guess, right? Is like I mess around in Game Maker. I like making like fun games as a hobby. Maybe it'll amount to something one day, maybe it won't. But that's really all it is. In terms of like making videos, streaming, or anything like that, I've sort of thrown in the towel there, unless I get some sort of weird, insatiable urge to do it again. And I'm playing Baba Is You.
I've been seeing stuff about that game. Seems
Check
kind of
out-
cool.
It's a really cool game. Y'all should buy it. It makes me feel like a dang idiot, but
Oh yeah, it's like a puzzle game, right?
yeah, it's like a puzzle game, and I'm not puzzle game minded, but boy,
yeah.
howdy, I love playing it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm basically making games, I guess, for fun, and when I'm not doing that, I'm just kind of living a normal adult life among people who have no idea that I created one of the best Pokemon Let's Plays of all time.
Yeah, no one at your 9 to 5 cubicle job knows that
No.
you're working next to a god.
Yeah, they have no idea. I used to be something, you know. I used to, you know, I used to write for something. I used to do something real, but you know, not that's any of your business. It's like the lamest version of the guy who used to be the high school football player star.
Yeah, you used to be the high school star quarterback. Well, made Pokemon Let's Plays on something awful.
Yeah, thousands of people. Thousands of people. PewDiePie. I wouldn't. That guy's shit. Yeah, it's fun. I'm happy. I'm glad I did what I did. Obviously, I sort of regret the writing sometimes. But, you know, it was a fun experience, and Let's Plays were a lot of fun. But it's not the same as it used to be anymore.
Well, if you don't mind a little bit of bootlicking for a second,
brother,
I know
my boots are dry.
I know. Yeah, I know you bag on your writing a lot. But regardless of the quality of the writing, it was just a very I don't know what's the word I want to say here. It was just a very fascinating read for me back in the day, and obviously it inspired me so much that I wanted to
Nice.
make something out of it. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of other people too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's good to hear. I mean,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, I mean, that's good. I rag on it a lot because it's self-deprecating, but I do recognize the fact that like a lot of people liked it and were inspired by it. So that's always humbling to hear too, you know?
Yeah.
It's really crazy to see just how far, like, I don't know how much of it is caused by me, but just seeing like sort of the conversation around like glitches in general and like the sort of terminology and stuff that people use to talk about glitches, it is kind of cool to think, as narcissistic as it may be, to think that maybe I might have had some sort of impact on that, whether people know it or not. That's like a very humbling thing to think about, I think. Yeah, and I don't expect anything like that to ever take off again, but it doesn't really have to. The 15 minutes of fame happened. I got that experience out of it, and it's cool. At the end of the day, it's cool that people enjoyed it. Like, that's really kind of all that matters to me, is like a lot of people got a lot out of it. You know, the idea, people like did fan art for it and stuff, and I was just like, man, that's really cool. If there's ever like a feeling that I'd want to capture again, it's that. I just want to make stuff that people like react positively to and are like, I guess, inspired by the same way that did. I think that's kind of the coolest thing out of it.
I'm sure it is a little narcissistic to think that maybe you had like a hand in a lot of glitch stuff, but I mean, I don't know, man. It was pretty popular, and
Apparently.
like I said, I didn't really see anything like it at the time, and nowadays, I think it would be foolish to think that you didn't have at least a little bit of a hand in it.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Sure.
Maybe not like a complete like controlling of the conversation, so to speak, but definitely like a part of it.
Yeah. Hey, you said it, not me. That makes it sound better
Exactly.
when someone else
There you
says
go.
it. Yeah. Thank you.
That you don't have to condone it or anything. That's just my opinion, man.
It's just your opinion.
I actually thought of a question while I was thinking through this. That was supposed.
Yeah.
I think that was supposed to be the last question, but
But
on the Pokemon Blue like Let's Play LP archive thing, there are a couple of like extra parts, quote unquote extra parts. Like there's like a zip of the fan art, and like there's stuff where like a bunch of like Pokemon carts are getting like fixed up.
yeah.
Those aren't by you, right?
No, and oh shit. Now I'm looking at because I never really because like a lot of these posts are just posts that like these parts on the LP archive are just post converted into these articles.
Yeah.
But you're right. Everything after update 12, the fan art obviously by other people, and then everything after that, science, fixing Pokemon games and the tasks, those are from other people. I did not do those. Those were like fan posts of like, oh, we were inspired by this thing to do this. And that stuff was really cool to see. Actually, the science one where it's just some people literally punching and dipping cartridges into the toilet. That's very much in line with the stuff that I was talking about earlier. Of like, we just messed with the cartridges and saw what would happen. So
yeah. The science one in particular is really funny, especially the guy is like, let's try and use psychic to destroy the cart. And oh my god, it's really good.
It's really good for sure. Those guys were cool. I think it was like a couple that worked on it on like an IRC chat that I was on, and they were like, "Hey, can we?" Again, like they asked permission, and they're like, "Hey, can we like do this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that's a way better idea than what I was doing." Are you kidding?
Yeah, anyone who hasn't checked out the extra parts, you definitely should, because they're just as nice of a read.
Yeah.
As the other stuff, especially the science one, and the also the guys who like literally fix up the cartridges.
Yeah.
That Pokemon Silver cart, Jesus.
Yeah. So since we're talking about this, I think this isn't because it doesn't look like on the art. I don't think the archive really oh yeah, they don't. It doesn't like show any hint about the story behind this. If you want to hear like a little scoop.
Yeah, let's hear some more lore.
So it's so the task part.
I don't think I've ever watched the task yet.
So did you read through it?
I must have years ago.
All right. So near the end of writing the Let's Play, some guy, this is back in the day where I guess you could just email people randomly out of the blue and like whatever, but like some guy emailed me and he was like, hey, like cool Let's Play and everything. I was doing this task thing and I kind of think it'd be like a good addition, but I don't want to pay for a Something Awful account, right? And he was like, is there a way that maybe I can like share this thing and through the thread as like a way to cap it off? And I was like, yeah, dude, that'd be really cool. I was humbled that they would do that, because to me a task requires way more like thought and effort than what I did, right?
Yeah.
So I ended the Let's Play and I was like, man, I feel so I was like, man, it's finally over. I feel so good about this.
I'm gonna feel so good. I'm gonna feel so good on April 6th.
Yeah, I was like, this is an amazing feeling. What a weight off my shoulders, right? And then after making that post, I think like not too long after, I was like, hey guys, thanks for reading. I just told you like this guy emailed me. He did this task, and I thought it was a really cool thing. Really stupid mistake I did. I didn't. It turned out to be that part turned out to be fine, but I didn't actually read any of it. I just skimmed it. First off,
no! Is there something crazy in here?
No. There isn't anything crazy in there. There could have been, though, right? God, that could have been way worse. But no, he was just a normal human being who just did a task and just had like regular commentary through it. I think I still haven't read through it, but no one ever said anything, so I'm assuming it was okay. But
just so you guys know, Metroixer does not condone the task Let's Play.
I do not condone it. So I posted it. And I was like, great, it's done. It's 2 a.m. as I do. Everything's over. I'm going to bed. I wake up the next morning. I was like, man, I finally did the Let's Play. Let's see how people, let's do a victory lap. Let's see what people have to say. I go on somethingawful.com. I'm fucking banned from the forums.
No, why?
I am banned from the forums. Because I had no idea this was a rule. Because there is a rule where basically if you are posting on behalf of someone else, that is basically a permaban.
Oh,
like it basically qualifies under the the rule set of like, hey, if someone who didn't pay for an account is like posting through like your alias, that it counts as account sharing, and account sharing is bannable. So instead of the end of the Let's Play, instead of being this like nice thing of like, oh, you finished it, like, yay, this was cool, thanks guys, oh, I know, I'm so great, I'm 16, everyone loves me. Instead of that, it ended up being multiple pages of people arguing with Slow Beef, being like, should he got banned? Shouldn't he have gotten banned? This is bullshit. Why did he get banned? No, he should have gotten banned. That was dumb as fuck. Like, just all that stuff. It was just so...
You can't ban Metroixer.
Just completely just ruined, like, the whole ending of it. Someone ended up paying on behalf of my account and even bought a new avatar for me. I was like, I don't deserve this, but,
that's so crazy.
They did it for me, but it's just like, it really soured the end of the whole thing. I was just like, oh my god. Once I got the account back, I was just like, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. Just thank you for reading, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. I've learned my lesson.
So, wait, did you never get your original account back?
Well, no, they unbanned the account.
Okay.
If you paid money, you could unban your account. So I still have Metroixer and everything like that. It was just like, what a hell of a way to like end this whole thing,
That's crazy. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, no, that was lost to time. I didn't even realize it. Unless you read the original thread, you'd have no idea that's what happened.
Crazy.
So, there you go. Some exclusive lore for this whole thing.
Wonderful. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything I have. Do you have any last comments or anything?
Just I mentioned it before, but great. I didn't think you could do it.
Sometimes I wondered myself.
Honestly, a lot of people have tried before and they would give up. And when you asked me, I was like, okay, well, here's just another guy. But you ended up doing a really good job, sort of integrating it and like powering through the harder parts. And I mean, that had me to discover. I watched some of your other videos, and I think those are cool too.
Thank you.
Like the Did You Know About series of videos. I watched some of those. I thought those were good.
Thanks.
And like I said, as time goes on, I don't really expect Let's Play or everything to sort of live on. I guess like it'll fade away as everything does. But it was cool to sort of like have this moment of like having this Let's Play be what it is. And we didn't really touch on it, but it also did one of the coolest things about it that I wasn't really touched upon. It connected me with a community within Something Awful that taught me a lot just about like people in general, and like it connected me with a very like diverse array of people. Like like I learned a lot about like gender politics and like race politics and like just the reality of what it's not to be a white guy
Yeah,
through that
yeah, no.
LP because like it helped it put my name out there and people like invited me and there were people that I wanted to like connect with and it's like oh shit like I learned a lot from that. So if anything, that might actually be the most valuable thing from that Let's Play overall is that it helped me connect with that and get a broader view of like, you know, the shit people have to go through and like what the world is like. And, you know, you don't have to do an LP to do that. But now that I'm talking about it, I think that is probably the most valuable thing that came from that. I have to wonder if that still happens, you know? Because I think if that didn't happen, I'd wonder how much of a different person I'd be today in terms of as someone who grew up in a pretty sheltered like community and stuff like that.
I think it still happens.
Yeah, I hope so. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, just
everyone.
Just be nice. Be a nice person.
Be cool.
It's not hard.
Be cool.
Just be cool. So I guess that's it. Thank you for coming on and giving an hour and a half of your life.
I'm amazed. I thought this would be like 30 minutes. I'd be like, how in the world is this going to be an hour?
But here we are.
Yeah.
Before we go, I do want to say, I have to put it out in the world, or else I won't commit myself to doing it. But the last part of your of the video Let's Play, it's going to end a little different.
Oh.
And that is to imply, if anyone listening to this, there will be one more episode.
Ooh.
Where I'm going to chronicle stuff that has been found since the Let's Play ended, and then I will finally be free.
Oh man, that sounds sick. I can't wait to see it.
And it'll be my writing and not yours, so you won't have
Hell yeah.
So the only cringing you'll do is through my behalf.
I won't cringe at all. I'll be stiff as a board.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Matt, for doing this. And thank you all for listening to me ramble on without a script. I'm not the best at it, but
you did a good job. That was fun. I had fun.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I was worried that maybe you're very clearly a very nice guy, so it made talking to you a lot easier.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I think that's gonna do it.